And so if we were standing in your physical shoes, we'd meditate every day. And we would orient ourselves to the subtleties of that inner mind, that inner being, until it's so not subtle that you're actually receiving movement, so not subtle that you're actually knowing unequivocally that that's the way you want to go.
And so I've tried that, and it is hard for me to meditate because my mind is always going so with tons of thoughts. I'm sure a lot of people are that way. How do you stop yourself from, if you've done it for a week, you start that measurement phobia, like I've done this for a week and I feel like I haven't felt anything?
Esther was talking to someone the other day who was saying something like that. And Esther said to this person the following words, which then that person really benefited by this because it made them realize that it is something that you're doing deliberately. Esther said, sometimes, depending on what's going on, I have to release a thought and then another thought and then another thought and then another thought. Sometimes your mind is just really active on things and you just have to start over again and start over again and start over again. What was that I was listening for? Oh yeah, there it is. And then all of a sudden your mind's wandering. What was that I was listening for? Oh yeah, there it is. And then all of a sudden your mind's wondering, oh, what was that thing I was listening for? In other words, just stay after it, because it doesn't have to happen much before you make the connection between you've quieted your mind and you did get a piece of that.
So all that's in the 15 minutes, even if you feel like I'm restarting and restarting. And
if you've been sitting there for 15 minutes, which is the amount of time that you've allowed, if you need to then leave and go somewhere and you realize that you haven't reached it, you may get more and more aggravated as you say, I'm not there yet, I'm not there yet, I'm not there yet. Don't do that to yourself. Just say, enough for today, and get up and go. But it is our promise to you that when you sit to focus upon some sound, your mind will quiet. Your mind will quiet, and your inner being will help you too. Your inner being's right there with you. Your inner being is helping you in this vibrational adjustment. You've just got to allow it. And so just be easy about it. Don't make it work. And don't keep telling the story that it's hard. Because if while you're in your not meditating state, you say, I can't meditate, I just can't meditate, it's hard for me to meditate, my mind won't quiet, well then it's going to be hard for you when you sit to do that, because you've just activated a vibration that is working against you. So begin saying things such as, when you go to bed at night, do you toss and turn for hours?
Usually, because my mind's going about stuff, yeah.
So that's not a really good idea to use that. So
I try to do a lot of appreciation.
Do you ever watch television?
I've really cut back on all the news.
Do you ever watch television?
Netflix.
Do you ever lose the plot in a movie? Wait a minute, who's that? Do you ever not hear what they said and want to rewind so that you can hear what? Are you ever distracted from something that you're focused upon? Well, it's not different from that. Are you ever across the dinner table from someone and you see their mouth moving and you realize you haven't been listening? You haven't been listening. You're smiling and nodding, but you haven't been listening. And so you certainly have the ability to focus in the same way that you can tune someone else out. You can tune your own mind out. You can. You just got to get good at it. You just got to care about it. And for most, it means you've got to know that there's a payoff for it. You've got to know that there's value in it. We want you to know that when you are able to quiet your mind, you have access to your inner mind. And when you have access to your inner mind, you have access to the pathways to everything that you want. The best ideas will come from this vibrational reality where your inner being knows every piece of everything that you've ever asked for, and what sequence and combination of them will please you the most right now. And the reason that there is a right now factor is because there is a resistance factor within you that your inner being understands. So your inner being knows how much to offer to you right now that is most likely to be received by you. Until it won't be very long before you'll be knowing your own power. You'll be feeling your own vitality. You'll begin feeling frisky even with no reason to really feel frisky. You'll feel like celebrating even though the manifestation hasn't come, because you can feel you're on the way, that excited anticipation of something unfolding. Yeah.
So when I'm trying to meditate, sometimes I'm going to fall asleep because I'm tired. Is it okay
Before you go further, we want to help you with something, and then we want to hear your full sentence. When I'm trying to meditate, when I'm trying to do this difficult thing, when I'm trying, when I'm efforting. So just soften that a little. When I'm sitting with the intention of relaxing into meditation, when I'm allowing myself to meditate, just use softer words. Just de-escalate the problem and allow the solution. So
when I'm allowing to meditate,
when you're sitting to meditate, what's the question?
And I feel like I'm going to fall asleep, is it okay to then allow yourself to take a nap and then, when you wake up, feel refreshed and meditate, if you have the time to do that?
Two things we want to say. Yes, especially at first. But you just told us that you toss and turn.
I do.
But not in this example.
No. I mean, I get up in the morning, like Esther says.
What we're getting at is, if when you sit to meditate, you sometimes fall asleep, then busted, because that does mean that you are quieting your mind. And so that's a good thing to acknowledge, that your mind does quiet, that you are capable of quieting your mind.
Comfy chair, and it's a fan running. And
there you go. You can even listen to the fan. The benefit from falling asleep is different from the benefit of meditation, because in meditation, you are aware of a different vibrational frequency, and in your awareness of it, you're actually tuning to it. While you slumber, that tuning process isn't happening. So that's why we like to say meditation is a progressive unfolding. Each day that you quiet your mind, the next day it will be easier to do so. Every time you do it, it gets easier and easier and easier and easier and easier and easier and easier, until you can stand as Esther does and just focus on something for a moment, and before you know it, your vibration is right in that high-flying place. Mm-hmm. We've been encouraging meditation in a rather strong way in the last several seminars, because the discussion of the unfolding of our conversation about being a deliberate creator has reached this place. We've been saying to you for a long time, you create your own reality. Law of attraction is the reason that that is so. You came to deliberately create, even though you're creating whether you're doing it purposefully or not. But it's no fun to create by default. It's no fun to offer a vibration without being intentional about it, and then just live the results of having offered a vibration that you're not intentional about. It's much more satisfying to do it on purpose. So the creative process is, step one is you ask, and life causes you to do that. You've heard this so many times from us. Step two is source answers. Well, that's what we were just saying to you. When you ask, this vibrational reality exists, and your inner being is there, knowing what you're asking for and sending you the signal to get you to it. So when you ask, it is immediately given. But step three is, you've got to be in the receiving mode, because it doesn't matter, and you know what it's like. Somebody asks you a question, and while you're giving them an answer, you can see them tuning out. They're not even hearing it. And so you've got to be in the receiving mode. So step one, you ask. Step two, source answers. Step three, you get better and better and better and better and better at being in the receiving mode. And once you're really good at it, that's when we call you step four. That's just really good at step three. Step four is being really good at tuning into the frequency of that broader perspective. And when you're tuned into that, then you get to witness the results of that tuning. Then you begin to notice that things that you've been thinking about are showing up. You can barely ponder about something that is interesting to you, or something that you would like a solution to, before the answer is right in front of you, because your inner being knows what your path of least resistance is to bring that to you. And if you have deliberately meditated, if you have deliberately quieted your mind, if you are consciously aware that you have focused this desire into being, then when the subtleties begin to flow, you'll be on the beam of them. And that is so satisfying. It won't feel like an accident. It won't feel like a freak of nature. It won't feel like luck. You want to call it a coincidence, and we want to give you an understanding of what that word is. It is a coincidence. It's cooperative incidences happening together. In other words, it's law of attraction bringing it together. But it's not a coincidence in the way that humans mean it, like it's luck or freaky. It's coincidence in that you have managed to bring yourself into a focused position of realizing something. And the better you get at that, not only is the more satisfying it is, it just becomes really, really fun to see all of the clues and information that the universe is giving to you. But it's satisfying because it surprises and delights you. Esther found the word, because of our intention, of clues. And sometimes, even Esther in the early days, she didn't want a clue. She wanted a roadmap with specific instructions. Don't play games with me, Abraham. Just give me the message. Give me the message. But if you're not in a position to receive the message because you've got beliefs that won't let you receive that message, we say to you all day, you are magnificent and you are so loved, and you block it with not appreciation for yourself. So it doesn't matter how much we give that block of thought to you, you can't get it if somebody has convinced you since you were little that you're unworthy. You see what we're getting at? And so your inner being is always giving you the whole enchilada. You're only receiving as much as you're ready for. So it's your fault that they are clues and not full-blown messages.